The happy one, the special one, is even the happiest of all. You know what it means for Jose Mourinho to have won title for like what?
Two years and 10 months.
Wow, that's almost 3 years. Now, if you can see the celebrations, of course, he actually celebrated more than the players, especially the time where he had to dive in front of the players. I was wondering, what is this man doing?
Cecilia, you can understand why I absolutely pardon Jose Mourinho for that over-the-top celebration. It's been a long time for such a serial winner in terms of winning competitions and trophies in football. 2 years is a long time. Yeah, 2 years is a long time for Jose, and so you can understand why he was really over the top with the celebrations, and those are all the players there.
He wanted all the players to have it before it gets to him, and finally when it got to him, that is it for you. Jose Mourinho, the really happy one.
I actually thought Tottenham actually started very brightly in that game, but once Chelsea settled, it was game over for them. Tottenham really didn't have a sniff at all, apart from the free kick from Eriksen that hit the crossbar. They didn't really get much opportunities, and that was because of what Jose Mourinho did on that day. His tactical plan and game plan really worked effectively for him on that day. So Chelsea deserved to be champions. I remember 2005, that was the first trophy Jose Mourinho won. That was what actually kick-started Chelsea's successful era under Jose. They went on to win 5 trophies and another 5 after Jose left.
Okay.
I think
he's kicking over another one again.
Yeah, I think it's going to go the same way.
But I think he's going to target the Champions League this time around, because the last time he couldn't get his hands on the Champions League.
But it depends on how long he stays. And right now, it sounds and feels like he wants to stay a long time with Chelsea. He used to be very nomadic before, wanted to go to all the clubs and win.
He's getting older.
Exactly.
He's 52 already, so he needs
it's time
to
for him to settle down. So depending on how long he stays with Chelsea, then we'll start thinking about how many trophies he will win with the London side.
But for Jose Mourinho, I think the celebrations are actually overboard now. I really want to get this particular part where he had to jump on the players. And that's something usually some of the younger players will really want to do. You expect it from very, like people like Eden Hazard and the likes of, well, Oscar and all that, but not from Jose.
The guys in their 20s, the 23-year-olds and the 22-year-olds, but then Jose is 52 now, but he was like a kid on that day. And so sometimes you have to act like a kid, especially when you win titles. And like I said, it's been a while since they won a major one. 2 years and 10 months is a very long time for someone like Jose Mourinho to go trophyless.
And that's something he feeds on. And the way he feeds on it, once he starts winning titles, then he's really, really happy.
Definitely.
I think you need to forget about the Matic red card.
It's not really talking about it. He dealt with it very, very well. If you ask me, in that game, he came up with a surprise by putting Zuma in the midfield.
This is the celebrations I want you to see. Now, this is the very one. Now, I handed it over to them because he jumped down. That is a coach for you.
What's that about?
Jose Mourinho for you. At 52, I think I love the energy that is just in him.
You can understand.
That is Jose for you. That is the man. You just can't help but just watch him over and over and over again.
Yeah, his box office, whether in the press conference, whether on the sidelines, whether in the dugout, Jose is box office. I'm very happy for him, and I can see Chelsea going on to win the Premier League now as well.
Okay, that's it, because with Manchester City, what they did at Anfield just couldn't get up to them. Shogi Toucher is ready now. He joins us on Skype from London. Of course, he was at Wembley to actually watch the game live, and for him, it is something he feels is really spectacular because he has a soft spot for Chelsea.
That I am a kid with 52 years old, and that for me is very, very important. I know that I have a team to build, which is what we are doing, but I feed myself with titles. It's difficult for me to live without winning things, even knowing that we are doing a work for being stable and being stable for many years, but it's difficult for me. I need to feed myself with titles, and this is important for me. It's important for the boys. For the club is one more cup, but it's the first one of a new team. You know, you have Peter Cech, John Terry, Drogba, and after that, everybody belongs to a new generation of players.
Well, it's the first for some of the young players, but definitely for Didier Drogba, for Petr Cech, and for the others, it's definitely not the first for them, especially John Terry.
Mr. Terry, Mr. Chelsea
Mr. Terry, yeah, because okay, Shogi Touch will join us now from Skype. Good morning.
Good morning, Sissy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, you were at Wembley to actually watch the game yesterday. What was the atmosphere like?
Well, it was very rainy. I think you guys in Nigeria are enjoying like a huge bounce of sunshine, but it was quite rainy yesterday. We're still kind of like in our winter, about to go to spring. So the atmosphere was, obviously lovely. And for Chelsea fans, what a boost, when Man City lost against Liverpool. Everyone was like actually looking up to the game, and it was kind of like a retaliation for what happened, on January 1 when Spurs, smacked Chelsea 5-3.
Now, if you look at both goals that came, deflection, will you say Chelsea were actually at their best during the game?
Well, it depends on how you term best. People kind of like, confuse, the defending skills and the attacking skills of a football game. And everybody wants to see a flair game. Everybody wants to see, a team, coming all out. But Chelsea was very tactical. Jose was very tactical. Obviously, he had to look at the 5-3 game, and he knew, especially, what Spurs could do to them. Not forgetting, how Kane dominated that other game. So he just did what he had to do. He wanted to win a trophy. And here in England, it's not every time that you have like a tournament in between the season that can give you boost, that can give you confidence. And he really wanted that. He wanted the first trophy. It's quite funny because, Jose is a psychological guy. He's got, a degree in that, and he's quite good. People didn't notice, but this was just like 3 wins in all competitions, in 8 competitions before this game. But Jose just, he does it in a way that people talk about him, and he takes that pressure off the team. So everybody was actually looking forward to this game, and Chelsea did what they had to do to win the game.
Now, how important is this title to Chelsea? Because I heard Chelsea fans actually talking about the fact that they're going for 3 titles this season: Champions League, the Premier League, and of course, they've already had this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the fans would say. But if you speak to the players, I spoke to some of the players, and even Jose himself, they just, they're professionals, so they just take it, step by step. You could see even yesterday that, people were talking about, the win, and it was like, yeah, we enjoy it tonight. But, right now, it's about the game, against West Ham, and, you have to train. After that, PSG, and, as a professional, you just have to focus. But behind the scenes, obviously, you want to win the triple. You want to win all the 3, but you have to take it step by step, because if you take your eye off, if you don't focus, you're off the game.
Now, what do you think? Can they go for the 3 titles this season? Can they do that?
Yes, they have a big enough squad, and I like the way, Chelsea play. Some people might not like the way they play, but, that's Jose's style, and it's quite, I heard when you guys were saying earlier, earlier today that, Chelsea is like a serial, club, and so Jose. So he does what he needs to do to win. He's addicted to winning, and even yesterday, I was saying, like, maybe people didn't really enjoy the game, but he had to, like, do what he had to do to make sure that they won the game. So Chelsea, they have a big enough squad. I like the way it rotates, everyone, even though Mikel was out yesterday and Matic was suspended, but you could still see that, Zuma could come in, and, you have other players that can come in. I mean, even Oscar was on the bench, and he brought him in later. Same with Drogba as well. He has a big enough squad, and even Remy, there's so many other players, and I love the way every position is kind of covered. So you need that in England, because when it gets to like March, April, that is when, it kicks in. You can see, teams like Southampton, who started very well in the season, but like West Ham as well, that they just like kind of dying away because you don't have that big squad. That's a huge advantage to Chelsea. Not forgetting as well, they're out of the FA Cup. So, maybe they can just kind of manage those 3 tournaments, and I think they can go all the way, possibly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shogi, for talking to us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now you heard on from that. Quickly, we'll just take a look at some of the shocking results of the weekend. I'm looking at the one between, Sevilla and Real Madrid. I didn't expect that to happen.
I don't know what you mean by shocking. Villarreal is a very good side, but then playing at home at the Bernabeu, I'm sure expected Real Madrid to actually consolidate and win that game easily, but it wasn't meant to be. 1-1 it ended in that match, but they still maintained a 2-point lead over Barcelona. In the other game there, Barcelona 3-1 over Granada. So Liverpool beat Man City 2-1. We didn't talk about that game at all. That was just an incredible match. Credit to Liverpool. After traveling all the way to Turkey for that match and losing, a lot of people felt fatigue was going to set in, but it wasn't meant to be. They really dug deep and destroyed their Manchester City.
Okay, now quickly, we talked about Rafael Nadal earlier on the headlines. He was talking about the fact that he wants more clay clay tournaments and all that. And another thing for him is simply because he believes that when you play on hard court, you get injured more. Does that mean Nadal is trying to concentrate more on playing on clay?
Oh my God, Cecilia, Nadal is the king of clay, right?
Yes.
So obviously he wants more clay tournaments. Nadal is what he actually won the Argentina Open over the weekend as well, too, which was his 46th clay court title. So we can understand why.
Okay, let's just listen to him quickly if we have time.
For our sport, and it's obvious that if we are changing more and more tournaments from clay to hard, for the body it's obvious that the hard court is tougher and more aggressive. So the injuries are every time more and more, and you can check on the tour how many players have already surgeries, how many players gets injury for a while. So something we are doing bad.
Well, that's it on the show. Thank you so much for being part of the program. Tayo, definitely you'll be here tomorrow on Monday. Of course, you're fully back now.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Business Money is up next. Of course, we'll leave you with pictures coming from Roger Federer, where he had to win a 7th title in Dubai.
Again, if Djokovic... Federer